The project is the Black Death. As you can see, through 1347, all the way to 1352, 25 million people died. Oriental rat flea, kingdom, Animalia. Phylum, Arthropoda. Class, Insecta. Genus, Xenophacela. Species, Chiopus. The bacteria of the plague multiplies inside the stomach of a flea and will make it very hungry. Then they viciously bite a host. Since its stomach was closed, it kept trying to feed on many prey. When the flea bit a human, the infected blood would soak through the wound and therefore infect the human. Bubonic was the most seen of the Black Death. The mortality rate was 30 to 75%. The symptoms were enlarged and inflamed lymph nodes around armpits, neck, and groin. Pneumonic plague was the second most commonly seen form of the Black Death. Victims of this plague often die before being able to spread to other victims. Flea drinks the rat blood and carries the bacteria. The bacteria clogs up its stomach. Therefore, when it bites a human, it opens the wound and the human is infected. This is the pathway of the plague. When the plague struck the area in 1346, tens of thousands of Tartars died. In any case, the Tartars sent an army to attack Kaffa. The Tartars decided to share their suffering with Genoese. They used huge catapults to lob the infected corpse of the plague victims over the walls of Kaffa. As the Tartars had intended, the rotting corpse littered the streets and the plague quickly spread throughout the besieged city. There were no ends to talismans, charms, and spells that could be purchased from the local wise woman or apothecary. People burned all manners of incense: juniper, laurel, pine, beech, lemon leaves, rosemary, camphor, and sulfur. Towns rang church bells to drive the plague away, for the ringing of town bells was done in crises of all kinds. Pope Clement VI, living at Avignon, sat between two fires to breathe pure air. The plague, bacillus, is destroyed by heat, so we live through the plague. People called Bicini pillaged homes and murdering and raping people. They wore red cloaks and rode horses through towns. One of the groups that suffered the most was the Christian Church. It lost prestige, spiritual authority, and leadership over the people. The church promised cures, treatment, and an explanation for the plague. They said it was God's will, but the reason for this awful punishment was funeral processions were used as jokes. It got to the point where deaths were ignored altogether. Bored? Go toss some stones at the witch and help stop the plague. As a result of death in the church, written language was almost lost and whole churches were abandoned. A few sculptures showed worms and snails munching on the seat. Partially due to the lack of children's skills to provide for themselves, all children suffered. A nursery rhyme proved this. Ring around the rosy was the meaning of the necklace of rosary beads that gave you God's help. A pocket full of posies, the stuff used to take the decaying body smell away. Ashes, ashes, the church burned the dead when burying them became too laborious. We all fall down. Basically, you're just dead. The very social, economic, and political structure of Europe was forever altered. One tiny insect, a flea, toppled feudalism and changed the course of history in Europe. Thank you for watching. This is my source for all my information.